What's up, Rad family? Today we're covering 3 terrifyingly creepy stories involving haunted Snapchat encounters. So let's get to it. Seeing my future. I'm going to start off my story by telling you now that yes, I know I sound paranoid. And that's because I am. But I have good reason to be, and that you'll see why after you hear my story. I was late to the whole Snapchat craze, joining just recently after a night of boredom. I was surprised to have gained a follower almost instantly, as I hadn't told anyone my username yet. I guess that my username must have been sold on one of those sites where people randomly follow a bunch of others in hopes that they follow back. I've seen spam adverts for them all over Instagram and Facebook, and assumed Snapchat had them too. Not thinking much of it, I ignored it, but a few days later while I was at work, I got an alert on my phone that I received a private message from this strange user. Not being able to open Snapchat right away as I'm a cashier, I put it off until I got home that night. Laying in bed, I logged in to find that that person had sent me 2 more private snaps. The first one was a blurry picture. I couldn't really make it out entirely before the 5 seconds were up and it disappeared, but it looked like the camera was pointed at a tile floor while someone was walking. The second picture was also quite blurry, but I could at least make out the location, which was a pretty normal looking bathroom. While odd but not creepy, I found myself hesitating to open the next one. After a moment's pause, I clicked on it to see a 3-second video which was of water running down the bathtub's drain. I sat there confused as to why a stranger felt the need to send me these snaps, so I simply messaged them back a question mark. As I had a long shift that day, I put my phone down and went to sleep. The next morning, I had the day off, so I slept in. When I finally got up to take a shower, something felt off. Almost like I was experiencing deja vu. Even after I finished showering, I couldn't shake the feeling while brushing my teeth. Pondering why I still felt like I was in a sleepy daze, I fixated on the floor. That's when it hit me. The first blurry image from the snap looked incredibly similar to my tiles. Feeling a quick panic, I instantly tried to reassure myself that many people probably have the same flooring. After all, it was generic white subway tiles. Pushing it from my mind, I went about my day as normal as I could. Lounging on the couch, running errands, going to the gym. As I was making dinner, I felt my phone vibrating in my pocket. It was another Snapchat notification. I opened it to be greeted by another 3-second video, filmed by a very shaky hand. It now showed a front door closing. It looked just like mine. Turning around to see my apartment living room, I saw nothing out of the ordinary. At least, nothing that made me think someone else was in my apartment with me. A bit freaked, I called my friend and asked her to come over for dinner. Opening the door for her, I got the same weird feeling I did that morning while getting ready. Throughout the meal, I told her about the weird snaps I'd been receiving, and she thought someone in the same building must be pranking me for fun. Admittedly, and foolishly, I was quick to believe her. That explained why the floor and door were the same. Laughing it off, I messaged the person back with a middle finger emoji to be done with it. I didn't get a reply, so I continued on with the rest of my night, falling asleep around 1 a.m. My phone went off once again with a Snapchat notification. Angered by the ongoing prank, I opened it immediately. What was on the screen made my heart race and caused my body to break out in a cold sweat. The snap was a picture of a dead body at the bottom of a dimly lit stairwell. My body, to be exact. It looked like I must have tripped or been pushed, and my head hit the pavement, leaving a puddle of crimson surrounding me. I stayed up the rest of the night paralyzed with fear. I tried messaging back the user, but it no longer showed up on my friends list, and when I searched for the name, no results appeared. I can no longer think this was just a silly little prank. And what's more terrifying, I don't know when it's supposed to happen or if it can be avoided, and I'm too scared to leave my apartment, which doesn't have an elevator. Anonymous Stalker. I've been an avid Snapchat user for the last few years, and it has become part of my daily routine. It's nothing out of the ordinary for me to send and receive a dozen snaps to different people throughout my day at school. One day, when I was walking home from my evening class, I opened the app to watch some stories to make my commute go by faster. After watching a few, a story popped up with only one picture. It was of me walking to class. Now, I know I should have been unnerved by it, but it was from a friend, and that's something we've done in the past. I sent her back a video asking if she wanted to meet up tomorrow for lunch. The next day, I opened my Snapchat while walking to lunch. Having not gotten a reply beforehand, I was surprised to find a Snap story from her. Again, it was a single video of me walking to class that very morning. A bit annoyed that she blew me off and yet still posted the story, I chose not to reply back. This single video story of me walking to and from class continued for the rest of the week. With each day, I grew more and more pissed off, but refusing to respond. That is, until yesterday when she shared a video of me in class. A class that she wasn't in. I tried calling her cell phone to put an end to this now creepy game, but it went straight to her voicemail. I met up with a mutual friend that we shared and asked him if he had seen her, which he replied he hadn't since the previous weekend. When I told him she wasn't answering her phone, he told me that maybe her phone had died and to message her on Facebook instead. When I got home from class, I logged onto Facebook to see that she hadn't posted any status updates or comments since that weekend. Something didn't seem right. The next morning, I skipped class, took the bus, and went to her off-campus apartment. Quite frankly, I was surprised her roommate even answered the door because on the way over, my imagination went crazy and I was half expecting to find a murder scene. Apparently, she caught the flu on Monday and decided to go home to recover. For some reason, her roommate didn't think anything of not hearing from her since. When I told her that that didn't make any sense since I was receiving snaps from her, she told me to ask the front office for the home phone number. On my way over to the office, I checked my Snapchat to see if there were any updates. There was one. It was a picture of me talking to her roommate. Completely freaked, I rushed to the office and told them that it was a family emergency and that I needed to call her home right away. The receptionist didn't hesitate or ask any further questions. The line only rang a couple times before her father answered. He told me that she was in fact home with the flu, and when I insisted to speak with her, he handed the phone right over. It was her voice, sniffly and congested sounding, as you would expect. When I told her about all the weird Snapchats I had been receiving and that I demanded to know why and how she was sending them, she went quiet. She told me her phone had been stolen last weekend at a party and that she hadn't been on Snapchat since. Freaked out, I ran back to my dorm and packed my bag. Even if it was just a harmless prank, I no longer felt safe on campus for the weekend. As my Uber pulled up, I got a private Snapchat alert. It was a video of me standing on the curb waiting for the car. I whipped my head around to find a girl standing a few feet away talking on her phone. She didn't look suspicious, so I didn't think it was her, but quickly got in the car anyway. On the way home, I decided to block the Snapchat account. I was tired of being fucked with. This morning, I woke up to a Snapchat message from another friend. It was a picture of my empty dorm room. Something about the picture sent a shiver down my spine. I'm writing this as I'm sitting in the waiting room of the police station waiting to file a report about a possible stalker. I've been too afraid to open Snapchat since. Stuck in a day. My friend was recently killed in a car accident coming home from a graduation party. The wreck was caused by a drunk driver. He was really big into posting on social media, so his mother decided to leave all his accounts up and active for friends and family to look at them when they were missing him. Like many others, I took his unexpected death pretty damn hard. One of the ways I coped with it was by continuing to send him Snapchats throughout the day like I used to. While the first couple months were usually snaps about how much I missed him and how angry I was that I survived and that he didn't, I eventually began sending pictures of things I thought were funny or moments I knew he would have liked to have been a part of. Even though I knew he would never see them, it still felt good to share them with his account. This continued throughout the summer and into my first semester of college. But then one night, right after I sent a joke, it showed that it had been opened. Since this was the first time that had ever happened, I was taken aback. but quickly assumed it must have been his mother or sister on his account. I simultaneously felt sorrow for them and embarrassed that they read the dick joke I sent. I didn't send any more snaps over to him for the next few days after that. But one night, while I was taking a break from studying for an upcoming exam, I got a Snapchat notification from his account. It was a weird sight to see his name pop up on my phone after such a long absence. Thinking it was from his family, I opened it. But instead of a message from the family, it was a selfie of him. What threw me off was that it wasn't a memory snap re-uploaded, or a picture of a computer screen of a selfie he took in the past. It looked like he had just taken a picture of himself smiling at the very moment it was sent. It was incredibly unnerving, and I sent a what the fuck in reply before thinking. A few seconds later, someone on his account sent me a smiling emoji. Even if it were his mom, this didn't feel right. So I closed out of the app and returned to preparing for my exam. The next night, the same thing happened again, but with a new selfie. A selfie that also looked like it had just been taken. I chose to ignore it entirely. The night after that, same thing, but this time I noticed something odd that I hadn't before. The picture was taken outside, and in the background was a bonfire. It was now the beginning of December, and it had been snowing since Thanksgiving, but there wasn't any snow on the ground of the picture. I decided to message back and asked when this was taken. The account said tonight with a confused-faced emoji. This pissed me off. Whoever got a hold of his account was mocking his death or trying to torment me. I told them to fuck off. The reply I got startled me. It was a video of him giving the camera the finger, telling me to stop being an ass. It was his voice, his face, his hand, and in the background, people celebrating around a fire. I didn't know what to think. How could this video exist and I had never seen it before? Or was it just taken and that would mean he's alive somehow? But I was there the night of the accident. I saw him in the casket at his funeral. He was dead. There was no denying that. I had to find out who was using his Snapchat so that I could stop them from hurting his family by doing this. Every question I asked was met with a sarcastic response, just like he would. It felt like I was talking to him. I didn't know whether to cry or to be angry. It was beginning to become hard to convince myself that this wasn't really him talking. Eventually, our conversation turned into catching up. I didn't care if this was some asshole pretending to be him. It just felt good feeling like I had my friend back. But then something he said stuck out to me. He started talking about how he wanted to ask out Mandy before it was too late. No one else knew he had a thing for Mandy but me. He didn't even talk about it to me until the night before he died. When I asked him what he meant by too late, he answered with, before she moves out of state to attend university. I sat there confused on what to do next. If no one else knew about his feelings for her, and he thinks that she hasn't moved away yet, does that mean this is really him? Typing out the message, my fingers felt like they were encased in cement. What day is it? He replied, it's Friday. I asked him the day. He said the 12th. I asked him the month. He told me to stop being an idiot, but answered, obviously May. I couldn't take this anymore. I demanded he send me a video standing in front of a mirror saying the date. He accused me of being drunk, but agreed. It was really him. And then he sent me a video asking me why I was acting so weird and when I was going to finally show up to the party. I told him May 12th was the night that he died, and that I was the one responsible for his death. Thank you so much for watching today's creepypasta video. If you want to check out some more creepy stories, click the vid on the screen or the links in the description below. As always, if you have suggestions for future vids, leave them down in the comments, and if you're not yet part of this radtastic community, hit that notification button to be alerted when the next vid goes up. Until next time, keep up the radness, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!